TownHall Heroes. Hello everyone and welcome you to TownHall Heroes episode 158. It's the same trio yet again, even though I actually invited somebody on this week. They weren't available, but we'll have guests again someday. Don't worry. Tonight we're talking about the Onna patch as promised last week. Open Division Playoffs. Europe is concluding now-ish, if not just ended, and then NA is next week. We have HGC updates as well, and then of course potential viewer questions in the mix if we get there. Laura Dunkelstein, I had the privilege of watching you apply beard lube as we prepared. Man, do I need to get that. My beard's coming along slowly. It's not dunk status, but it's getting there. MP3 viewers,
man.
Bakery, describe my beard.
Disappointing.
Oh,
Ooh.
damn.
Sorry, man. You know, like on an ordinary day, like most times I see you, I'd be like, damn, Jake, that's a nice beard. But directly, like a few centimeters below you, we have Dunk Train himself. He's a seasoned veteran of the well-met method. There's no comparison, I'm afraid.
Well, Bakery, you're already chatting. What's new, buddy? What's good in the realm of the bakes?
So yeah, this has been a pretty cool week. Like we're just practicing, taking everything fairly easy because we are already qualified and we don't play any official games until Blizzcon itself. So we're scrimming and yeah, just having a good time.
Is that
Nice.
is that a good thing or is it weird to like have that freedom?
It does feel really weird actually, but I think it's a really good thing because I feel like we're actually playing a lot better now that we have no pressure, and it's especially in week 5 of HGC as well. It's just been like everything's flowing so well within the team because there's no pressure on us. Like we just get to play like the best we can, and if we don't, there's like no one's scared of not doing it. So it feels really cool, and I'm definitely looking forward to going to boot camp and being able to like 100% try hard again though.
How about you, Dunk? What's good in your realm?
Not much going on here. Just kind of first time I've had to pay a bunch of bills for the house stuff. That was pretty wild. And then just been doing my stream thing, man.
That's good, man. Paying bills like an adult, owning a home, dude. Scary things, dogless homes. Feel sad, man. Got to steal those dogless from home. But you can do it. I believe in you. Thief your parents. Thief them well. You know, honestly, for me, dude, it's been the grind. It's been tons of video editing. I've got like some behind the scenes stuff for next year that could be really awesome for Arcane 8. Really just trying to evolve the company and trying to get the stream back up again as well. But it's been good. It's been a good week of Heroes. And last week, there was just so much to talk about in the Heroes realm because we had 2 patches to cover. We actually covered the Volskaya Foundry fairly well, I feel. We talked about Onna, but we didn't cover the rest of the patch. And there have been some, you know, magical orange texts that were added into the patch notes from the PTR. Some of them we anticipated. Some of them we prayed for. And I think we can all let out a sigh of relief that you can no longer bribe the support camps. Yay!
It feels so good.
Yes.
It feels so good, man.
Are you guys surprised at all that they did it immediately? Or was the feedback that overwhelming across the board?
It's not surprising.
I was surprised it went to PTR and it was still viable.
Yeah.
Like, I was surprised they hadn't changed it from Hanamura coming into Volskaya. But changing it from PTR to live, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm not surprised. I wasn't expecting it, but I think it was a definite possibility.
Yeah, I think everyone expected it to get changed.
At some point.
Yeah, I just didn't. I mean, I didn't really expect it to be immediately when Volskaya went live.
Yeah,
but
same.
I was like, oh, that's nice. I'm glad they did that. But it definitely wasn't out of left field. Like, everyone said that. The first thing everyone said about the map was like, hey, did you notice you can bribe the support camp? It's like,
Scum lords. Where are the Pachimari ones? Are they Overwatch? No.
Are they an event, maybe?
Pachi. Yeah. So, just keeping things real serious on the show, we talk about esports. Which is your favorite Pachimari bakery?
Oh, that's a tough one.
There's some pretty good ones there.
I like Jaina a lot. Wait, is that Jaina?
It's Jaina. That's Jaina.
Yeah, I like Jaina a lot.
Dunk?
I like the Nazebo one.
That's a really
it's like
good one.
It's such a happy variant of Nazebo.
Yeah, it is. He's very happy. He's like way too happy. There's all these different emotions based on the eyes and the mouth. I think for me, it's the Ragnaros. I don't know why. I really like the expression on the Rag. He's so jolly yet
evil,
cynical.
Yeah.
It's really fun. The Pachimari event, of course. The first thing in the patch notes, I read the word Pachimari, and I just had to talk about the portraits. They're really fun. But Onna didn't really actually receive any of the changes from PTR to live. She is what she is. If you want to hear a discussion on Onna, we went over her pretty in depth last week. Not a solo support is the takeaway, right? She can't heal herself. Very difficult to be a solo support if you cannot sustain yourself in any way, shape, or form. Doesn't have cleanse. Doesn't have a lot of the key things that make, well, she has cleanse at 13, right? But it's very different than having cleanse at 7. But we're not going to talk about Onna today. What we are going to talk about is just the rest of the patch. Are there any other really noticeable changes here? I can actually just pull up the patch notes on stream. What do we got? What is this change to Impaler and Tripper camps? I didn't actually read through the entire thing. I'm going to be honest with you guys.
That patch is like, that change is insane. Those things do so much damage now. So all the
wow,
like those siege mercs do so much damage now on BOE and Infernal. The Khazra, like the spear thrower dudes, they actually will like just destroy keeps. And before they were like basically a joke.
Yeah, like they really were. So in our team, we actually called them vegetarian camps because they just do nothing. Like really nothing. So definitely a welcome buff. I mean, I wasn't blown away so far. I wasn't like, wow, these are insane. But they definitely were. Hey, we need to actually do something about these guys now.
Well, in the past, like on Infernal Shrines or something, if you're playing and you leave a Fallen Shaman camp alone, then it's like, oh, this is a problem. It's actually going to take the wall down eventually.
Yeah.
Is it quite the case as well? Like, are these siege camps gonna be? Are they gonna tear your wall down? Or are they gonna get one tower? What's the impact if you leave them alone?
No, they'll definitely take the wall out. Like, no question. They're not as threatening as the Fallen Shaman camps because those sometimes will just kill your whole wall and they'll kill your wall, your fort, your wall, and your keep if you ignore them. But I mean, these won't do that, but they will get value for sure.
So there's definitely going to be meaningful timing, say in Volskaya Foundry, to pick up the scout camp, or what do they call it? The trooper camp. Trooper camp. Gotta learn that one. In the event of the third, point when you're fighting the bottom of the map, since they are pushing top. Cool. It's good to see them get some love because they did always feel kind of like they're worth experience and that's their impact, right? So mercenary items drop no longer require a short channel time to be picked up. This is true for Hanamura and Volskaya Foundry. It's just a nice quality of life change. The items, when you drop them, naturally being able to quickly scoop one up to retrieve it for your team or whatever will feel good. Also, just, can you pick them up while mounted? I don't think you can. And it was always annoying that you had to right-click channel, then mount. Okay.
I think you can now.
Okay.
So the slightly weird thing about this for me is that I think in fights it was kind of exciting dynamic if someone is trying to pick up like the healing pulse or something, whereas now it is like it's instant even if it's dropped from like a killed hero. So I definitely appreciate this once you kill the mercenary and you want to pick it up for the first time, but when it drops from a hero, I think it would be cool if that had an actual channel to it. But
just for overall, balance reasons, like
yeah. So I mean, maybe not balance. I just think it was exciting when someone dropped an item like a turret, and both teams were like, "Hey, if we can get this turret and put it down, we can win the fight now." Like, so they were both trying to like cap it. But since it's now instant, whoever stood next to the person that drops the turret just instant picks it up. So it's, I feel we've lost something there. But overall, this is definitely welcome. That was definitely a niche situation where you were kind of getting screwed by having to interrupt your flow and channel them every game. So
they still have a cast time to be placed, though, right?
Yes.
Like the turret, yeah. Okay, well that's good at least. That way you can't just instantly right click and then drop it, you know, in a snap. Basically like shift click. That would be a little busted. The support camp's no longer bribed by talents. I mean, this is really just some nice balance to make all the mercenary camps feel worth something. And I felt that on Volskaya Foundry in particular, especially watching the show match, the support camp ended up being the most viable thing. Only one on the map. Bribe made it feel weird. The turrets definitely are impactful when it comes to fighting over the objective. And the siege camps are just kind of like there. It's like, cool, look at these little airplanes, watch them fly. But good to see that love. And it's going to make the you know, just the min-max of the Merc game be that much more important across the board for the game, which is just healthy.
Yep,
absolutely.
Control points and no changes made whatsoever to the control points or the objective, which is good. The Dragon Knight got less movement speed, but the starting health has also gone down. So recently they buffed the Dragon Knight's early game damage. Are you guys surprised to see the health and the movement speed going down?
So this is actually a huge change. The almost subtle note right above that, all vehicles, including Dragon Knight, Gunter, Dragon Protector, are now unstoppable, is actually huge. Like that change is insane. Like, you can't stun them, you can't slow them, you can't loot them. They really are kind of unstoppable now. So actually, yeah, a huge change for the game. And as a result, they were buffing the Dragon Knight because it wasn't strong enough. Like, it was too easily blinded, too easily countered. So they buffed it to make the map flow better. Now that there's an indirect buff coming in the form of Unstoppable, they're taking it back down a bit.
Yeah. Do you like the vehicles being completely unstoppable so they can't be dislocated at all?
I haven't really decided yet, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm still on the fence. I think I like it. My impression is that it was a bit weird how random displacements were like insanely effective, whereas a stun was reduced by 50%. So, and then I think it was always a bit weird of like, the decision of whether I used my stun was always one that I think was fairly obvious to most high-level players. But when you were first getting into the game, or when you're a lower-level player, it's like, it's such a noob trap to be like, oh yeah, let's like CC chain like the Dragon Knight, and he doesn't really care about any CC. So
yeah.
I think I like it. I haven't seen how it plays yet though, so it might have some disastrous consequences. But I think and hope not.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't had much opportunity to play with it. Like, there's not that many vehicle maps. I don't think I got a single Dragon Star game yesterday, but seems interesting to me. I don't have a problem with it conceptually. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Well, my net is being a turd right now. Not too sure what's going on. So apologies for that. Of course, the VOD will be cleaner. We'll make sure to upload that direct from this again. But nothing I can do. Comcast is the only ISP. Please pray for me. We also have completely derailed because of this. Let me find the patch notes. Lots of hero changes.
The next topic is actually the ranked battle rotation update. Like, a small interesting thing that we can discuss a bit is that Volskaya Foundry went straight from new map into the ranked pool. And they also decided to make it the full the full 9 maps rather than leaving like only 8 because some weird thing with anime era. What do you think about that, Dunk? Like, should we be putting a new map straight into the ranked battleground rotation?
Personally, I think so. I think there is a large portion of the population who just really enjoys playing games in their ranked modes regardless, and as a result, they wouldn't get the opportunity to play the new map really if it wasn't in the ranked mode. So for me, I think you just add it to the ranked mode. Everyone's learning it at the same time. Nobody has like an advantage. Yeah, maybe it adds a little bit of variance. Like you could argue, oh, people don't know how to play it yet, so like it's not a true indicator of my skill or whatever. But I mean, you're playing matchmaking with 9 random people. Like it's just not something worth worrying about. I'm excited to have the new content instantly available in my game.
I mostly agree with you. I feel the same way. I do think it's a bit weird, like especially day 1, especially day 2. I do think there are going to be a lot of coin flips where a person on the enemy team has worked out the map and is willing to shot call his team to victory. I do think it's going to be a bit weird just day 1, day 2. But moving forward, I agree. I'm excited to get into playing the new map in ranked. And I think it would be a pretty bad thing for ranked overall, given the heroes' player base and their preferences, if it wasn't included. Because we have to bite the bullet at some point. If people only play ranked, they're either missing the content, and there's still a high chance that maybe half the ranked population committed and played it in quick match, and half of them were like, never mind, I'll just wait. And they're going to be bad as well. So bite the bullet, put it in straight away. I do think that's the correct call.
I agree. Totally.
I don't know. I think it should just be more consistent with what HGC does. I think the 2-week ban on a hero should be for Hero League, and I think that should also be the case for new maps. Put it into unranked, put it into quick match for 2 weeks on all new heroes, on all new battlegrounds, and leave Hero League untainted just in case there need to be changes. Because so many times do we see a new hero released into the game where they might be a little bit overtuned or whatever, and they just turn into almost an unfair advantage at times. It also takes time for players to get used to playing against a certain new hero. They can really, really adjust the meta a lot. Plenty of other games do that, and I just think it's a healthy thing in general. So I would like to see that change in the future, at least 1 week, but I'm down for 2 weeks personally.
Interesting. I hadn't even thought about preventing new heroes from being in ranked mode.
Doesn't League do that? I think it does.
I don't remember actually. I know Overwatch does that.
Yeah. Which is really smart in my opinion.
I definitely see the reasons for it, and if you're pursuing this ranked mode is the pinnacle of competition. This is 100% serious. Then I do think that's the correct path. But at the same time, I do feel like as Dunk said, there are a lot of people that play Heroes of the Storm because they love the game, and they play ranked because they loved the challenges that ranked produces, and they're going to be missing out on new content. Again, we're going to have the same issue where half the people aren't going to go out of their way to play quick matches very much, just level to 5 as they would anyway, and then play Hero League the rest of the time. So in reality, I do think it's a very minor upgrade. Like, you think it would be huge, but when you look at what actually happens, I don't think it would have as much effect as it would initially seem. And then you look at what you lose from kind of gating the community, forcing people out of ranks to play new heroes and new content. And when we get a new hero every 3 to 4 weeks, that could potentially be really damaging to ranks. Like, why would people play if everyone just wants to play the new content? Like, my hype for a new hero lasts at least 3 weeks. I would never play like ranked mode in that case. Or a lot of the time I wouldn't.
That's fair. What about maps though? Would you say maps are a big enough deal to keep them out of the rotation for a week?
I think Dunk Train summed it up pretty well. Yeah, okay. Like before. I wouldn't disagree if they did decide like we need to keep ranked maps out, but I personally think the better decision is to just bite the bullet, have the wonky first like 2 or 3 days, and then continue on from there.
Fair enough. Cool, cool. Well, let's carry on here. We do have the AI improvements, which is happy and fun, I guess. Although my first game on the PTR, playing on the new map, the AI on my team had no idea how to go to the objective, even when I pinged to it. They just got stuck on the belt, so maybe the AI still needs a bit of learning there. Maybe it's been fixed since the PTR, I'm not sure. Some other minor things with UI and voices, just quality of life. Minimap, actually this is kind of big. The hero icons of minimap now indicate which direction the hero is facing. It looks really clean, and I just think for everything from esports to just being, playing the game, that's all really relevant information.
Yeah, I like it.
There's been a whole lot of changes recently, specifically to, I'm thinking, of the minimap itself, which are just really nice quality of life UI features that we really are just getting coming in. So we had the minimap's tick rate was, it looked to me either doubled or tripled. It's way smoother now. We had the portrait cleanup where they all turn to circles. Now we get this directional thing. Just overall, a lot of nice in-game UI improvements.
And they add up a lot. I mean, the UI has evolved so much in the last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the social, everything. And what is this? Players under level 5 can no longer whisper to non-friends using chat. Oh, so you can't make an alternate account to flame someone if they ban you. That's amazing. I assume that's the reasoning.
Banners now display the name of whose banner it is. Yeah. Oh, what a change. I'm so glad we got that one in there as well.
So now you know that Tracer banner actually belongs to Murky.
Or that Dignus House banner belongs to Dignus House Bakery. There's great stuff like that.
Or that Even in Death banner belongs to the entire team of Heroes Hearth, as they love to rock that right now in their games in Open Division. Pretty funny, actually. So, of course, lots of changes across the board for the heroes. Time Trap now has a unique minimap icon. That's also
a big
cool.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's put Chromie to tier S in my opinion. That's what really bumped it up.
100%, dude. It's a nice quality of life thing for just keeping track of, knowing that Chromie's put a time trap down, and that might be why someone stopped moving or whatever. We talked about the global changes on the globals. I believe, yep. And then Nova. Are these relevant changes for her?
No.
No. Should Nova be viable in Hero League? Or in competitive play, let's say. She's viable in Hero League to some extent.
Nah, she shouldn't be viable in competitive. If she is, there's a problem. But these changes are all super irrelevant, talents and stuff that just aren't even close to mattering.
I feel like what happened is one of the people in the Bandits team just played a few games of Nova, and they were like, hey, here's a few really small fixes that would have made my experience just now 10% more enjoyable. And then he just, did them all. Not anything big, not going to change Nova almost at all, I would say. But I guess it's nice to, if you're a Nova player, it might be some nice quality of life things.
Okay, Abathur with the global change, Brightwing. And then Karazim, who got, this is one of the supports that's getting more and more changes. So level 1 has been Iron Fist pretty much across the board for a long while now. So they tried to breathe some life into his other level 1 talents. But they also took Breath of Heaven, and the cooldown has been brought up from 8 to 10 seconds, and the mana cost has also been increased. I think they're trying to incentivize the use of Transcendence and Insight as well, because this nerfs his healing if you go Iron Fists, and then you're getting a little bit more healing, and a lot of bit more healing with Transcendence, up to 96 instead of 73 for every third hit, and then Insight gives you 1.5 seconds per 3 basic attacks now for the cooldown when you complete that quest. You don't get that baseline, right? It's still you have to punch 200 times or something.
Yeah.
So those are pretty, impactful increases for those two. Bakery, former Karazim God, what are your thoughts on these changes?
Former? So I like the direction. The concept of, hey, let's not nerf Iron Fists, but let's make it harder to solo heal with, and then let's buff the other talents because clearly they're not even able to compete. I like that direction, but I do feel like the changes slightly missed the mark, so I would have much preferred a different approach. I would have preferred, let's make it hard to solo heal. Let's make it limited to solo heal with Iron Fists, rather than just a straight nerf. So I'm thinking something like, when you pick Iron Fist, you use more mana, or something like that, right? Or when you pick Transcendence, you use less mana. Some changes like this that punish you, especially in like either burst damage or sustained damage situations, for picking Iron Fists as a solo support. But if you're confident and if you see the situation, you can still do it. What they did here was like a straight nerf to Kharazim, unless you pick one of the healing talents. And I don't think a nerf was what he needed at this current point.
Do you think he's just going to be in the same spot? This is going to be not a change at all for him in terms of where he sees play?
I haven't really got the chance to try him out much yet. My prediction is that potentially there's some weird cheese with Insight. Probably not, but if there is, that'd be pretty fun. Transcendence is probably going to be okay, and we're going to look at Monk in this third like best healer spot, where you have tier 1 Uther Rhaegar, tier 4 Kharazim, tier 5 like Brightwing.
Is Brightwing still tier 5, you think?
No.
Well, in Bakery's tier system, it makes sense.
No, like Brightwing might be pretty good now on live, but yeah, I don't think this puts him competitive with Rhaegar Uther, but it maybe buffs him slightly. Not impactfully, I don't think.
Yeah. I think Insight might be okay. Like, that's a really huge change from 1 to 1.5 seconds. Like, but
if you build into the E, I think you can basically have permanent uptime, maybe a half-second cooldown if you're consistently punching. So it's fun at least. Lots of radiant dashes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely good to see them at least trying to give him something, right? Because he's not really amongst the top played supports in the game right now. But we'll see where they end up. Rhaegar, this is something I think we touched on a little bit last week, where they took the cast range on the chain heal, they lowered it. The bounce range, they lowered it. And the primary target, it has way less big healing, because in the past it was more just that was your oomph heal on the main target. And the secondary healing is identical to that. So they've just leveled it out. Used to be far less. Now you're getting 3 solid heals, not 1 big one and 2 small ones, but they bounce less. So it's, we kind of had this whole argument that supports are all becoming a little bit more too generic and like specific. And now he's like, well, if you've got 3 heroes, this will do decent healing. He is straight up, I just heal 3 targets hero. How much does this change Rhaegar as a whole? Having less burst healing, does that hurt him? Or is Ancestral enough to maintain that God support status?
I think in most situations this hurts him slightly. So I think the patch before, Uther actually had a really weird bug, which was making him like one of those broken heroes in the game at some point. Since that buff's been removed, speaking purely about competitive, him and Rhaegar have been both at the top, and I'd say Rhaegar was slightly better. These changes probably bring him down to about Uther's level, possibly below, but still definitely far above every other healer, in my opinion. Apart from the situational medic, of course. I think the main appeal of Rhaegar right now is the fact that his damage follow-up is actually significant. It's more than some Vayne's carries. It's really quite insane.
Just feral life, yeah.
Yeah, his wave clear is one of the best in the game. His camp clear is one of the best in the game. And he's just very versatile. So the things he was doing best was not burst healing. And so the fact that it got nerfed, it hurts, but I don't think that changes how you pick him. At least right now. So, yeah, in terms of what I expect to see from him. I expect to see him be much better against things like Lunara and Gul'dan. So an actual buff to him in those situations. He'll be slightly worse and definitely more reliant on Earth Shield than ever before. And he was already very reliant on that. But I think with Ancestral and Earth Shields, you're going to be able to get by on the burst healing part. The increase to sustain here was definitely nice. So overall, I don't think he's going to move very much at all from where he is right now. But as I mentioned last week, I am a bit disappointed by the direction of these changes as well.
Yeah. Someone in chat asks who's the least situational healer right now. Dunk, would you say that's Raigar?
Yeah, I think so. I think especially in Hero League, like Raigar just is what the only support you can pick where you can make up for your team not drafting Wave Clear, you can make up for your team not drafting Mercenary Clear, you can make up for your team like not picking any semblance of a reasonable composition, and you just pick Raigar and like, oh, I'll just do all these jobs that like no other healer can do. Like I'll solo the lane, I'll do the Merc Camp, you know, I can follow up on damage when my DPS are running in circles, staring at the clouds. Like I think he's just by far the most versatile healer right now.
Yeah, but those damage dealers are going to know when it's going to rain, Dunk, and you're not going to know. You're going to go wet.
Yeah, I mean, even in competitive, I think he's still the most versatile. But with how specialized most supports are now, I think you're giving up a little bit of power level if you're not getting something specialized to do exactly what you want to do. Like Bakery's talking about how Uther, Raigar are the best. Well, Raigar is the generic one, and Uther is like the specialized, I want D-Shield one, basically. Or I want to prevent burst damage.
Yeah, if you guys missed last week's show, once again, we talked a lot about the support situation. You know, the fact that support's becoming so focused in terms of what they're good at rather than being broad. Not our favorite thing, at least on this show, but, you know, there's definitely a case to be made for it. Wait, I thought Brightwing was last week? No, did we skip her? No, I guess she was
Brightwing's actual changes were last week, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. And Toronto changes were last week. Damn, I don't get to talk about my two favorite heroes. At least I got to say their names. Brushstalker, pretty much what you expect, but then Johanna is getting a nice, sizable rework to give her engage. She's one of the few tanks in the game that did see play in some situations, but didn't really have a reliable form of engage outside of throwing out Bless Shield and hoping that your team follows up. Let's discuss. I mean, overall impressions. Dunk, let's start with you on this one.
Johanna seemed like a beast in all the games I saw her in. The new punish talents seem really powerful. The non-decaying slow is like insane utility added. I think it's going to take maybe a couple of days for people to iron out the exact build, but I think she ended up with a pretty significant buff in terms of like her actual brawling in this patch.
Bakery?
Yeah, I mean, Johanna has always been, literally from release, he's almost always sat in the exact same spot of being to she's okay. So I think these changes are more to push her more into like a, hey, I enjoy playing that hero, and she's or she's okay.
Really, when she launched, it was like during the Sunder era where Thrall was like a top tier solo laner, and like Sunder Bless Shield straight up slayed some team fights. She definitely had her time, you know?
I mean, it's not to say she's like not good, but she's still like not very fun to play. Like, no one got excited about playing Johanna.
No, that's fair. I'm not going to argue with that.
But I think especially with stuff like the Blessed Hammer active, like the whole like hit 4 heroes and suddenly you're Q's, the most insane thing ever. Like if you hit like 2 heroes or more, like it's like an increased slow. I don't know. There's a lot of really fun talents that would make me think, hey, Johanna's actually really fun to play now, and she's the same thing as before.
Fair enough. Bakery hates Johanna, confirmed. Send him Johanna fan mail too. 1-800-Baker.net. Cool. Well, I mean, honestly, it's good to see her getting some changes. She has been pretty, she's one of the only main tanks in the game that exists as like a solo tank, but again, situational in terms of what map she has. I'm excited. Falling Sword could be used. I think that'll be interesting. The 2.5 seconds of slow is a huge amount of time when it comes to initiating, and it's kind of like a mini stage dive, it seems. But it's nice that she has a actual second heroic, right? Because she never has had a second heroic. It's always been Blessed Shield.
Yeah. So there's a typo on her thing. The level 20 talent, Blinded by the Light, it's actually only a 5-second decrease, not 8, which changes the math a lot. I was talking about that on PTR, the 8 seconds off per enemy hit with shield glare makes it come back insanely fast. But on live, it's actually only 5 seconds. So just so everyone's aware.
Lies and slander. Wow, that's all the changes. This wasn't as big of a patch as I thought, but well, okay. Any other bugs that might be relevant?
I mean, the one in Owens right there, that'd be a good one.
Dragon Blade no longer benefit from the cooldown reduction abilities such as Innervate and Nano Boost. Nano Boost Dragon Blade was busted blade, boys.
We were missing the opportunity to Innervate Dragon Blade that whole time.
Thank God.
Oh, man. That would have almost made Malfurion pickable.
Almost. Oh, another sad note. So I thought it was just an undocumented buff, but actually it was a mistake. Where Malph's the cost of his regrowth was reduced on PTR from 45 to 40. I was phasing, so it was a great buff. I'm really glad it happened. It was actually just accidental. It's going to so sad about that one, but
nice.
Dunk, I just played a move just like one of your damage dealers, and I looked up to the clouds.
Yeah.
There's a terrifying spider web, and I actually hate my life now.
Rip Jake.
No, there's like 4 spiders. It's a colony. All right, well,
they're taking over.
I guess I'll let them live till after Halloween, and then I'll vacuum them, and their lives will be bad, or over, whichever. But honestly, it's nice to see a solid patch like this. The support situation is always going to be something we talk a lot about, just because I think all 3 of us play support primarily. So sorry about that, everyone. But we'll definitely be sure to mix it up. I think Junkrat is confirmed to be the next release, considering they included him in the Volskaya Foundry cinematic that they released. So when we have a Junkrat release, we'll make sure we bring on an assassin guest. Everyone, please pressure Snitch to be that guest, and that would be fun. But let's continue on and talk a little bit about the amateur scene in HGC. And I know Dunk and Baker, you guys probably don't follow it all that closely. Have you guys watched any? Dunk's like, nah, straight up, just those guys aren't good enough for me to watch.
I've caught some of the Heroes Hearth teams games because I feel like they have a very legitimate, almost favored opportunity to make it into an HGC. But other than that, I have not really caught much.
I haven't really watched much of NA, to be honest. I have tuned in every now and then for a few Heroes Hearth games. I got to see Jake and Jay Howe doing a great job casting, but haven't really watched much. EU, on the other hand, I have watched a fair amount early in the season. I watched quite a lot. Later, I didn't watch too much, but I have been keeping up with playoffs. So, I guess diving straight into the EU Open Division playoffs, there have been some huge results and quite a few upsets.
Yeah, let's just say this is spoiler time. This concluded tonight. So if you don't know the teams that are going to the Crucible, earmuffs? I don't know. But here comes the bracket, as we do have EU side of playoffs. And yeah, Bakery, continue. Sorry, man.
So... God, I really hate looking at this bracket, by the way. I wish I had like 4 team names. So Leftovers, who many people thought would be the best team, they showed up and they kind of showed everyone how to play the video game. So great job to them. Very impressive.
They dropped 1 map in the winner semis to Shahizen. I can't say that word, but
yeah, somehow
to a German team. Good job, guys, for taking the 1 game off Leftovers. But Leftovers are going to be the first seed as they 3-0'd in the grand finals tonight. What I was surprised about was, man, I like to see the old school players do well, right? I really do. It gets me excited. And not the original Team Liquid, because actually the original Team Liquid had this player named Dunk Train on it. They were an American team. After they, what's the best word for this? After they jumped ship, we'll say, to C9, Liquid became a European team. And 3 of those players were Lucifron, Vortex, and Gerdemherd. And wait, was Gerd on the original Liquid? Maybe he wasn't.
Wait a second. Not sure where this history lesson
No, maybe Gerd wasn't. At least I caught myself, right? Anyways, at least Lucifron and Vortex were there, and Gerd's been around for a long time. What was Gerd's first team?
Gerd's first team, I believe, was Alternate Fancy, who are many members of the current
What was Gerd's
Team
first
Liquid.
relevant team?
What? No, Alternate Fancy was the team that then got signed by Mind Sanity, that then got signed by Misfits, and then became the Team Liquid we know today, who have a chance to actually go to BlizzCon. So Gerd's been around a long time. Went from team to team. He himself ended up on Team Liquid for most of 2016.
Okay.
And sadly, they did fail to qualify for HGC at the very start of this year.
And then they failed to qualify for the Crucible by 1 game as they were defeated in the loser finals versus Always Lucky. I guess Always Lucky's name is true. So that actually puts Always Lucky into the Crucible with the Leftovers, and they will be challenging the Europe scene. So I don't know if we know what team the Leftovers has selected yet, though. Because they get the basically the way the grand finals works is winners finals, you win it, you earn a spot in the Crucible. Losers finals, you win it, you earn a spot in the Crucibles. Lauber, he's face palming. Congrats, Lauber, on earning your way to the Crucible. But who did they pick? Wait, what did I read it wrong? Oh, Polska. I'm stupid. I was looking at the losers semifinals. My bad. Yes, Polska did in fact earn a spot in the Crucible. Hey, man. That's fine. I'm literally just looking at this now, so what can you do?
Anyway, so Polska Pamięta, there's a fun history behind that team as well. So Gluehammer was on the original alternate team many years ago. I think what most people call him in Europe is Rufus, but that's definitely not his name. He's got some weird like RZ like F name. He's been around as well since like Alpha / Beta. Shihu was the original best tank player in Europe many moons ago on G2. So this team as a whole does have a lot of history, and especially Shihu. I'm actually really excited to see these guys back because I think they have a lot of talent. So Leftovers, I would say, is a cut above everyone else in this tournament from what we can see, but Polska Pamięta, I think they have a real decent shot at giving TGG a run for their money. I'm excited to see Crucible, man. Honestly, after seeing playoffs, like, and seeing Bushido, who is a team with names that we really know and we thought at one point were the top tier of players, to see them not make it, it's going to be really cool to see the teams that did make it.
So, you said that they had a chance against which team?
I think they have a shot at Team Good Guys. I don't.
Okay.
I would favor playing Ducks over. I would say both teams, Leftovers and Polska.
Okay. I was going to ask you which team you would choose if you were coming out of the first seed.
Yeah, sadly, I think Polska are going to go up against playing Ducks.
Yeah.
Like I would be very surprised if Leftovers did not pick Team Good Guys.
Okay.
They want that BKB blood. Feels bad, man. Young BKB. in the Crucible, fighting for his life. That's in like October. Let me look at the calendar. Like 6th or something? 7th?
So this weekend is playoffs, and that's going to decide who gets to go to BlizzCon. The week after is then Crucible, which decides who gets into HGC and who potentially falls out. I think.
Damn. Yeah, no, that's correct. So basically, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Is it 3 days for HGC playoffs, or is it only 2? It's probably all 3, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this coming weekend. So starting on the 29th for HGC Pro League playoffs, and then Saturday and then 2, 3, 4 is HGC North America playoffs, and we're about to talk about that. And then it is the 7th and 8th. So the NA teams have 3 days to prepare for their opponents once those teams have been determined. But it's fairly likely what at least one of the teams will be, and the other team's a little bit more of a toss-up. Let me pull up the bracket as I totally just closed that Gosu Gamers bracket. Feels Jake, man. Bam, sound effects, bracket, and we're in. So, North America, Heroes Hearth are the #1 seed. They won every single cup except for the first cup in this season. The first cup they lost to a team called Players Unknown, who never placed in the top 4 again, as far as I remember. I don't even remember who was on that team. They didn't even make it into the top 8. So I don't know what happened to Players Unknown and how they achieved that victory, but such is life. After that, you have Donkeys R Us to consider as a top contender. Donkeys R Us is formerly known as Nice. It's like LZ Gamer. We can actually just pull up the roster here. So it's Jin, Talion, Picanti, Elohim, and LZ. That's definitely one of the top contenders. They're #2 in total points by a few points, I think. And then Imported Support went to the last Crucible, put up a better fight than Even in Death in the last Crucible, actually. It was versus Naventic, if I remember correctly, and I think they won 2 games, or at least won 1 and came close with another 2. I'm not certain.
Yeah, I think it was 3-1. I think.
Yeah, I think it was as well. But it could have easily gone the other way around.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Yeah. They threw a few times in late game. And it'll be good to see what Imported can do. So it's pretty much Heroes Hearth as the expected first seed. They would very likely choose Even in Death. And then after that, we got to look at DRU and Imported. But you never know, because when we went into the last season, Even in Death was 4th seed. And 4th seed this time around is formerly Flame is Lame, now Operative Esports. So there, you can't count them out. You can't count them out. And we've had teams like Team Numerics took a game off Heroes Hearth last week, and UNT Eagles. They're a collegiate team, but they're pretty driven right now, it seems. So I'm actually pretty stoked for this. It's far more competitive than what we had for the Phase 1 Crucible or the Phase 1 playoffs. However, I only think Heroes Hearth will make it to the Pro League, but I'd like to be proven wrong.
Yeah, I think that's the result everyone's kind of expecting.
Yeah, me too.
It would be a pretty big upset if like Heroes Hearth chose Even in Death, didn't make it in, and then the other team played and actually made it in. That would be insane.
Yeah. Oh, somebody in chat just told me that Players Unknown had Apex and Crux after winning the first Open. They didn't do it on the second, and then they just straight disbanded. Feels bad, man. Longevity non-existent sometimes. But thanks for the info, lovely Hearthstone. So we can now transition to talk about the Pro League and the playoffs this weekend and the bracket that exists there. What are your guys' expectations for HGC playoffs? I mean, we talked about this briefly last week. I mean, did Liquid lose this past weekend? I didn't actually get to catch HGC. I've just
So if I remember correctly, Liquid played Expert and got 3-0'd.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But did that match still matter for standings? It did, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it did.
Not much though, because
It was like
Liquid
one spot, I
would have
think.
been fourth seed, I think.
Instead of fifth. Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually matters.
It does a bit, doesn't it? I think it doesn't matter too much though, because to be honest, if you do manage to, like, whoever wins out of Zealots or Liquids, I am definitely expecting they also beat Tricked. I think Tricked is kind of the dud match, who they had a fantastic performance early on in the season, but moving forward it kind of got worse and worse. We're not sure if they're practicing really hard for playoffs, if they're going to give it their all, or if they're going to say, no, like, you know, we stayed in HCC, we played well, and that was our goal. So it depends what they do, but I haven't really got high hopes for Tricked. I think the other three, sorry, Team Wish, not Zealots.
Okay, I was going to mention that.
Team Liquid and Team Expert are three very strong teams, especially if they show up.
Damn. So, I mean, playoffs should be good, though. Honestly, having the possibility of swinging both ways, that last spot for BlizzCon means so much. Like, what is the last place guaranteed earnings at BlizzCon? It's still like a lot of money, isn't it?
I don't believe it's public, but I don't think it would be very much.
I mean, it's still probably at least like 20 grand or something.
So on the website, you can see the winnings for first, second, and third, and fourth. And traditionally in Heroes, we've had a very flat structure where if we have a prize pool, maybe 20 to 30% was to the winner. This time it's 50%. Like, so if you just look at this is instantly, how much of the prize pool is off the table? It's $1 million prize pool. You've got 850,000 just instantly off the
top
table.
Four, yeah.
In the top four.
Isn't that 750,000 to 850? There's still 250,000. Oh wait, what's fourth? Oh, semifinalists.
Well, third,
okay.
Yeah, semifinalists.
Ah, that's third and four. You're right. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's.
And there's 16 teams this time around, so I don't think you're getting very much if you're placing it towards the bottom this year.
Yeah, it might be 5K if you get 16th. You walk home with $1,000 for losing. I mean, it's something. So
yeah, I mean, it's not bad.
You still get to attend BlizzCon and
I would not say no if you're being paid $1,000 to come to BlizzCon, but it's not the high payout it has been in years past.
Can we just appreciate how pretty this website is?
It's pretty nice, right?
It's really nice. If you're listening to MP3, just imagine. Just close your eyes. Think about rich purple color palettes that are all purple, and then more purple, and then purple people. Now
and then cool logos and video clips and slow motion footage. Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, last week of HGC is concluded. Playoffs are coming up. I don't know if there's much else to say other than the fact that playoffs are do or die time. I wish this would update with the... Okay, here we go. So Liquid versus Team Wish is going to be Friday, September 29th. The winner of that faces Tricked. So Tricked effectively need to advance to face Expert. And then the winner of that goes to BlizzCon. That's how it works, right?
Correct.
Okay. So it's one best of 5 per day?
All best of 5. Yeah.
Okay. That's going to be intense.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a really tough time for Liquid and Wish especially, because they need to perform day 1, then they need to perform day 2, and then they need to perform day 3. They need to win best of 5s against 3 of the top teams in Europe 3 days in a row. It's a tall ask for sure.
So, and Liquid just lost 3-0 to Expert. So that clearly, was a big win for Expert. That makes a lot of sense. Damn. That's nuts. Oh, that's going to be a gauntlet for these teams in general. An expert gets to sit back and scout and watch the drafts and form their strategies to pick apart anyone they want, but that's the advantage they earned from their season standings. North America, same dealio, starting with Superstars versus Space Station. The winner of that will face Tempo, and the winner of that will face Gale Force. Who are you guys putting your money on in the two regions?
NA, probably Gale Force. EU, I don't have a strong opinion. I would just be deferring to Bakery's judgment.
No, my judgment's on the winner. It could be anyone. You have Tricked, who, if they play like they did, here's the funny thing about Tricked is I think they won every game they played against Expert and Liquid in this phase. But then they lost to Playing Ducks twice, I think. And then they lost to, I think, Zealots at some point. I think they maybe lost a few games to TDG. They really are just all over the place in terms of consistency. If they turn up like they did at the start of this phase, then they could be the best team there. Expert, right now, definitely the top team. Liquid's been definitely on a downward trend. If you think back all the way to the start of this year, absolutely dominant, win the first part without dropping a single series. The favorite going to the Western Clash even. There's a whole lot of who is actually going to perform? And whoever is going to perform, that's who's going to win. It's as simple as that.
So you mentioned you thought they beat Liquid 3-1. They lost to Expert 1-3.
Lost to Expert.
You guys 3-0'd them. They beat Liquid 3-0 in July. So they've beaten Liquid handily both times they played.
Yeah.
Did they play it? And they beat Expert.
They beat Expert, and then the day after lost to Playing Ducks.
So they do have a yeah.
That's their consistency for you.
Interesting. Let's go and look at Expert in comparison, and then we'll have a decent idea of where everyone sits. So 3-0 versus Liquid, which we just saw. Expert, we know the results for a straight. Did they play Liquid?
I mean, hang on. They lost to Team Good Guys, actually.
August 6th, they 3-0'd Liquid again. So Liquid has a... Oh, July 21st. Liquid beat them 3-2. Interesting. So it feels like anyone can beat anyone.
Europe is a real toss-up. You show up, you perform, you're going to BlizzCon. It's that. And
that's great.
It's an impossible job to predict who's going to go.
That's crazy, man. China wrapped up, did it not?
Maybe.
Maybe it hasn't completely wrapped up.
No, I think you go to standings, you'll see.
Yeah, what am I doing? Finals. Yeah, so China did complete SPT, CE, and Beyond the Game. Will be the 3 Chinese representatives. I think that concluded this morning.
Can you click on Beyond the Game? I just want to see that roster.
It tilts me so much when their names are just Fish, MJ, ZJZ, A.
619.
Not 69. They added a 1 in the middle.
So I wonder if any of those are old players we would know from China, or if they're all new players that we have no idea.
I do not recognize those names.
Because I don't recognize a single name. So that was my question.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't recognize the real names either, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So these are the finalized Chinese teams. It's good that they finalized a little bit earlier because China has literally never had a single American event for Heroes of the Storm where all of the teams and all of the players were successfully able to attend. Almost every single international LAN where they came to the US, two teams ended up merging. And it's really unfortunate. I don't know why the VC issues are so weird when it comes to the US and China. But fingers crossed that there are no complications, because I'd love to see China be properly represented at BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Going back to NA, actually, I'm really interested in how the NA playoffs are going to work. So the thing for me is Gale Force started this phase. They picked up K1 and King Caffeine. They looked dominant is the only word for it. They beat every single team. They going into part 2, like I think week 7 or something.
After Clash, yeah.
If you work out their probability of being one of the top 2 seeds, it was something like 90%. And somehow they threw that away. So the big question is, what happened after the Clash? That's the big question for me, because it looks like something big has changed about that team. And the second one is, can they turn it around? So turning it around and being better than Freedom and Roll20 is one thing, but to be better than Tempo Storm or Space Station, that's another, actually. So a big concern for them. Meanwhile, Tempo Storm, for over a year, they were the best team in NA, and they've slowly but surely kept dropping places. First to Roll20, then Gale Force, then Team Freedom. So they're currently sat 4th best. They did some weird things with role swaps. Now it looks like they've reverted the role swaps. Like, what's going on with Tempo? Then we've got Space Station, who in part 1 were almost guaranteed to go to the Western Clash, and then they lost to Even in Death. So it's like how did this happen? And then, you know, they've been on like I think a 9-game loss streak or something since they picked Nova in a HGC game. Ugh. Clearly a bad omen. So
it's like ever since they got that new logo, and they just went straight in the dumpster.
Yeah, I mean,
the logo didn't help.
It didn't help.
There's a lot of weird things. Yeah, I mean, Dunk, you seem pretty confident about GFE when we first put it up. Like really? You're still confident?
Yeah, I think they're going to go to BlizzCon. Like, okay, basically all of their wins that they've gotten in HGC have been scrappy and like close. And like even that first phase,
we were saying on TownHall,
yeah,
they didn't look like the stronger team, but they won the series.
No, yeah, but they just win the series. And I just think since they only have one series to play this weekend, that favors them. They get to see what Tempo's doing this weekend, who I think is the only real competition in the playoffs here for them. And I just think unless Space Station Gaming or Tempo like way shows up that we haven't been seeing from either of them lately, like I think Jiffy is probably just going to barely eke out another series win, and that happens to be a series that's really important and gets them to BlizzCon.
No
chance for Superstars?
Like 0.01%, right?
Holy shit.
I would not go that high. So
damn.
For Superstars to win one of these series, I could see it happening. They've had really strong flashes, but to win 3 in a row,
on back-to-back days,
like come on, dude. Like, I mean, they're good players. Yoda obviously really performed at the mid-season and has looked decent ever since. Iacona has been on a long time, but I don't know, man. 3 days in a row, like I just can't.
Yeah,
I can't buy into that.
Write them off, boys. They're dead. They're dead. Wow. Well, you know, this weekend, just 3 days from now, Friday, it begins, one match at a time. We can look at the schedule once more for North America. Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, at least 2 p.m. Pacific is going to be the NA match, and 3 hours prior to that is the EU match. So it's just going to be pretty epic this weekend. Each best of 5 means so much because it means do or die. You lose, you're out, you're done for the year. And although you're not going to be crucibled, you got nothing happening until post BlizzCon and whenever they announce the 2018 season. We assume that this is going to all just transition into the 2018 season. Naturally, we don't have details if there will be changes to the format or anything like that. And I'm very eager for that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty pumped to hear what the plans are for next year. Blizzard has been building these new arenas, right? There's the one in Burbank now. I think it used to be the Late Night Studio. I think they're doing an Overwatch event there, and they're going to be doing probably some Hearthstone stuff. And I'd imagine we could see those being used for NA regionals in the future as well, which is just badass, man, right? To have these Blizzard studios, right? They had the Asia one used just recently, so
Taiwan one, yeah.
Taiwan, yeah. Really cool, really cool. And the other thing going on in the esports realm, is GCWC. And the Gold Club World Championship, I think this is its 3rd year running?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I was trying to find the announcement site, and I couldn't find it again, but I saw it the other day.
I saw a really hype YouTube video of it.
Yeah. There was a video, yeah.
All right. Hang on. Time to go into my YouTube history and try and find it.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Gold Club World Championship is a global event that took place last year in China as well during the winter, basically after BlizzCon, where we got like an insane tournament with an amazing format.
Dope production.
It was super fun. Yeah, great production. The tournament was amazing. So
and it's $600,000. So it's like actually not far off from BlizzCon pricing, right? BlizzCon's
well,
1 billion.
It's the GCWC. The 600K is for Hearthstone and Heroes combined. It's split half and half. So it's still dank. Like it's still 300K in Heroes. But it's basically going to be like another BlizzCon, basically back to back, but just taking place in China, and it's going to be sick.
Okay, I linked the trailer in the
BillyBilly.com. Oh, this is going to be good.
Okay, I mean, I don't want to oversell it. It's not anything groundbreaking, but it is very cool.
It's called Billy Billy.
I don't think it's Billy.
Well, that's how Jake says it.
But yeah, while this trailer plays, I think last year Gold Club was actually, you couldn't say it was anything less than an amazing event. The format was at the time the best we've ever seen. Still very arguably the best we've ever had. Mid-season is the only thing that even comes close to it. The arena was super cool. Playing in the water cube at the Olympic, like the Olympic Stadium was really cool. A ton of really passionate fans. How they treated the players in terms of how much media they did, the accommodation, the practice areas, it was, to call it next level is a huge understatement. Like, the practice areas were insane. Each team, they built like their own rooms, like for the teams, and you had like 5 computers and the extra one for like a coach. You had couches. They gave you tons of food. It was in a 7-star hotel, so they had people catering for you, like in your practice area. Like, it was insane how great that tournament was. It's a bit of a shame that not too many people could watch it, because it was on a bit of a weird Twitch channel, not very well promoted in the West. But I'm really hoping with this early announcement they've done this year, and the fact that it got some traction on Reddit, we can get more Western involvement in it. And I'm really looking forward to the tournament. I hope so much that we get to go. I think it's actually on my birthday, so that will be pretty amazing.
Oh, it was amazing last time. Have to echo.
Dude.
Everything Bakery is saying was sweet.
Yeah, it's going to be an epic event. Chinese events have their own feeling to them. They really do feel like a completely different style tournament. I don't even know why, but even like the old school, I remember watching WCG like a million years ago in China, and the production was so ahead of its time, right? I don't know if it's just cheaper to produce all, epic events or whatever. The one big hero, wasn't there a Blizzcon in China? Like, not a Blizzcon, a Heroes Global in China a few years ago. Am I crazy? Wasn't there an international? Maybe it was just maybe it was an Eastern Clash that happened in China, and the was it Korea? Crazy cranes and robots moving around and
oh no, that was Korea.
Was that
Korea?
Was Korea?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
that was so.
Somebody
that was the time when Doug Train came sixth in.
I was talking to
fifth, sixth, sir. Fifth, sixth.
No, we were fifth. Clearly, our team was fifth.
Well, I was talking to a production god that works in the space, and I was asking him like, why this guy actually used to run like all the NA regionals. He was like the head of planning for everything. And I was like, why can they do this? And why is it so much better than you? Do they have a better budget? And I wasn't trying to flame him. I was just like, their stage transforms. Like, it's ridiculous. And he's like, straight up, like all that tech is made in China. So renting it is infinitely more feasible if you're in Asia, because it's cheap and it's accessible and it's there. It's just like, it's Chinese tech essentially. And they just have access to it. And whereas to do it out here, it's just not an option. We just don't, for whatever reason, the cost to do the same thing is infinitely higher. So that was pretty interesting to me. But yeah, man, GCWC should be dope. And I'm excited to see them staying involved in Heroes, right? Because China seems to have one of the most passionate Heroes communities globally. And it's really cool. But I think we're out of topics, boys. Is it time for viewer questions?
Seems that way.
We never get viewer questions.
Well, tonight,
so excited.
The night, and we're gonna be scumlords, and we're gonna force you all to the Discord, so that way it requires a little bit more curated content. If you really want to ask it, you'll join our Discord. So I'm getting the Discord link now. There is a Town Hall Heroes channel in which you should ask the questions. Do not use the general channel. Boom, boom. Link copied. Oh my goodness. There's a Discord command. Dark Raven, he knows what's up. Look at this guy. I don't even have to link it. I'm going to link it anyways. But Dark Raven, he's got your back. Bakery, I got a question for you.
What is it?
What? Shit. I was going to ask you a question about food, but you probably can't eat it. Dunk Train.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Dunk Train, what's your favorite kind of ice cream?
Favorite kind of ice cream?
Yeah.
Pistachio.
Whoa, that's fancy.
Well, I mean, it's just the best.
Okay, I accept that. Now, like, is there a specific brand in mind? Does it have a certain, like, because a lot of nut ice cream flavors have like a chalky, nutty taste to them,
I actually literally never buy it.
Oh.
In grocery stores, like I'd never buy it in grocery stores or anything. We just used to get it in this one, like ice cream / like mart place that we used to drive when we were going on road trips to my grandparents' house in another state, and we would always stop there and get pistachio ice cream, and it was god tier. So I have no idea what brand it was. I have no idea what brand it was. I have no idea how to acquire it again, but that's like the only pistachio ice cream we'd ever eaten. But it's god tier.
So half the reason it's your favorite is because it's this elusive, nostalgic experience that you don't know how to replicate.
Probably.
Okay. I respect that. Bakery, is there any ice cream you can't eat?
Probably. Honestly. I don't know. I've never had ice cream, so maybe that's on my bucket list. Maybe one day I'll aspire to eat some ice cream.
Damn. Yeah. I'd like to be there for that. Ice cream is my jam, but I'm boring, and I like boring ice creams. All right. Will any major region teams be locked out in opening week? I think when it comes to the HGC format, Bakery, for opening week this year, there's the possibility of...
Okay, hang on. Can someone tell me, just real quick, if the format for HGC Finals is public?
I actually don't know, but I would imagine it is. Let me go to the website.
I don't think so.
Because last year, I think 8 teams moved on to the main event. 16 teams showed up, 8 teams moved on, right?
No, it was only 12 last year.
But
so
now it's 16.
They had a double group phase where the first group phase everyone just plays, and then the second group phase is the top 8, the real tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
This year is definitely different because there's 16 teams.
Yeah.
I do know the format. If someone can confirm the format is public, then I can talk about this.
I don't think that it's public because I don't know what the format is.
Yeah, I don't either. So, sorry. Thanks for the question, RD.
No, wait, it is public. I found it. So during BlizzCon opening week, all 16 teams will be split into groups of 4, where they will play through a seeded dual tournament stage. The top 2 teams from each group will enter into a single elimination bracket that will be played out on stage for the BlizzCon trophy and the lion's share of the $1 million prize pool. So 4 groups of 4, top 2 from each group, single elimination 8-team bracket. So whether any major reason teams will be knocked out depends entirely on what the groups end up being. So if the groups are, I don't know, let's say Korean team, NA team, top Chinese team, there's a real chance that, especially if it's the third NA team, there's a real chance there that NA won't make it out. I don't. There's only 4 minor regions, so there'll be 1 in each group. So I don't. It's almost certain that China or North America or Korea or Europe will not make it out of groups.
Okay, fair enough. I'm excited for it being 16 players. That's a really nice upgrade for this year. Let's continue on reading through. If you guys see a question in the Discord you would like to address, just hop on it. What NAAU teams are invited to Gold Club? It is not announced yet, as far as I know. I don't think they're, like Bakery just said, he hopes he's invited. I don't think they have reached out to the teams yet. It's going to be towards the end of November, so it's still technically 2 full months away before the event happens. Usually it's around 5 to 6 weeks prior. So I'd say anywhere between the next 2 to 3 weeks, teams should be getting reached out to. Teams then have to accept and all of that good stuff. So I don't think there's any info on that yet.
So there's a question here. So outside of Dignitas and Fnatic, who do you think will win BlizzCon? For me, the way that I see it is there's kind of 2 main teams. They're both from Korea. It's L5 and MVP. I think both of those, if they step up, they do have a real shot at winning. I'd say my favorites for the event are Dignitas and Fnatic, but definitely keep an eye on MVP and L5 to step up and win that. The team I'm keeping an eye on, there's 2 teams that I'm keeping an eye on to maybe go far, maybe do really well, but I don't think they have a very high chance of winning. CE from China, I think for a long time they've looked very strong. They've never got their full roster to an event. I think if this is the one, they have a real chance to make some upsets happen and perform really well. And surprisingly, a North American team by the name of Roll20. I legitimately believe they have a real chance to upset Korea and Europe at this event. But I don't think they can win it just yet, but they can get far, I think.
Is that the first time we've ever had a European on TownHall state that a North American team might upset Europe or Korea? Clip that, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't think that has ever happened in the 3 years of this show's existence. Damn. Who will place better at BlizzCon, NA or China? Well, with what Bakery just said, I think that answers that.
That's a tough one, actually. NA or China.
Who do you guys think is the best first pick on Volskaya, Foundry, and Hero League right now?
I don't know. That map, like the objective takes so long to actually acquire. The fights are super dragged out. Like a lot of times there's back-to-back fights over the same objective. I don't know how you really take advantage of that, but when I'm thinking like best heroes for that map, it's something that abuses the slow fight, like the long time that someone has to sit on the point for the objective, longer than any other objective by a wide margin.
Baker, do you have any idea for Hero League?
I think, especially when looking at first picks, people really overrate the importance. I mean, this is just the general answer. It's not going to be great for questions, so sorry about that. But honestly, like, pick a good hero, one that's not tier 2, one that you really know how to play, and that's going to be the best first pick 9 times out of 10.
That's true.
Yeah, like, if you really want, like, the absolute best, though, I would probably say just pick, like, the strongest hero. Who is the strongest hero right now?
For Hero League, I think well, at GM, I think it might actually be Garrosh, because it seems to be the one that enables the most random deaths for the enemy team. Like, people just walk up and die to Garrosh.
And he is good because they have to stand on the shrine with him.
Yeah.
I would say Garrosh is the best pick.
Interesting. Big thank you to everyone that's been asking the questions. Some of these we've already answered. Cowhead asks, with an extra hall being opened, will heroes have their own stage? I mean, they haven't released the floor plan. We're not privy to that info. Fingers crossed.
The thing I will say is that we've used the heroes stage, and then WoW has come over and used our stage. So we do actually have our own stage. It's entirely heroes branded. It's entirely heroes lighted.
No, they built it to be neutral. In fact,
wait,
it's all custom colors. It's all LED. They built that so it could be flexible. So although it feels perfect for heroes,
it looks pretty heroes based.
I mean, it does, but it was still intended when they designed it to be flexible.
But the old WoW stage was definitely different. Like when they built
that's why they scrapped it. The old WoW stage was also the oldest stage ever. That thing was like the styrofoam was falling apart if you looked at it without the special lighting on it. The thing was just rickety and rackety. But anyways, I don't know. I mean, it would be cool. The thing is the way the schedules work, I would assume they're pretty similar to last year, so I don't know that it's needed. Opening week is a pretty elaborate process, and I mean, as nice as it is to have its own stage, I don't know. It's weird because if you guys have never been to BlizzCon, let me just go overview of the floor. The far left hall, I think just Hall A, is the main stage. That's where they have the opening ceremony, the closing concert, the cosplay show, all the big panels and reveals and everything happened there. Next to that, last year it was the Overwatch stage, pretty much just a whole dedicated Overwatch hall with gameplay, direct TV booth, and the main stage. Next to that is that us? Or is that Hearthstone? Where's Hearthstone?
Wait. So hang on. Go back over the thing.
So main stage and then
right
Overwatch.
at the left, main stage, then Overwatch, then Hearthstone.
Okay.
Then Heroes and
Hearthstone
WoW,
has their own hall.
And all the way at the end. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. And then all the way at the end, it was the arena.
StarCraft arena, yeah.
But
and they kind of tucked Diablo into a corner somewhere.
I'm not sure there's a Hearthstone event at BlizzCon. Do you guys know about this?
There has to be, dude.
Well, the thing that's blowing my mind is the finals of the Hearthstone
HGG?
tour. Yeah, the whatever it is, the Hearthstone tour thing isn't at BlizzCon. Their World Championship isn't at BlizzCon this year.
What?
But I think they're doing some World Cup thing possibly. So I don't know what's going on, but I was actually curious if Hearthstone was going to be here this year.
Because there's the Hearthstone Global Games, which is that's countries, I think. There's teams. Right. So I'd imagine they'd at least have HGG there. August 25th is week 16. I guess that ended. HGG ended. I don't know. That's interesting. But who knows? I don't imagine them removing the tavern, regardless. It's such a cool thing. They had, Dunk and I were at Gamescom, and they had this really, really awesome tavern where you can walk up, play Hearthstone on an iPad, and then they have, the player is actually on a stage right next to you. There was an Arthas cosplay that was just walking around, super cool. So they'll have something. You know, the new hall, they have the potential to do a lot of things because BlizzCon has moved the merch store to a different floor now. Maybe they want to bring that upstairs to, which is a possibility. But at the same time, the merch store is like honestly like mostly a giant line, and they fill up an entire convention hall just with a line, which sounds nightmarish, but it's pretty fast system they have going on. The only other thing you have to consider is if there's a new game, which I find to be unlikely considering the rate which Blizzard has been putting out games lately, for them to have another one. You never know. Then it would have its own hall, because we didn't expect the Overwatch hall to be what it was, you know, that first year when it was there. You walk in, you see a bunch of black monitors. All the screens are off, and it's like, what? Warcraft 4. Yes, it's here. But it was Overwatch. And Overwatch is great and all, but come on, Blizzard. Warcraft 4. All right, back to questions. You guys got any good ones? Or
someone asked, how much impact does the stage/live environment affect gameplay in big tournaments? Do you legitimately feel more confident and or hyped up if everything is really well presented and upkept and everything? I'm not really sure it has anything to do with like well presented and upkept. As far as like the players concerned, the biggest deal is the crowd. The crowd energy is absolutely insane. Chanting, clapping,
you can feel the vibration, dude.
Yeah, you can feel the vibration.
Like you're in the soundproof booth, you feel the roar, you feel the ground shake. It's insane. Yeah, some people really step up. Some people really choke. Yeah, it's pretty insane. Like last BlizzCon, Fnatic against was it L5?
MVP Black.
MVP Black. Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, that series.
That series completely felt like the crowd energy turned it for Fnatic. It really did. You could actually feel it. It's a pretty amazing experience if you've never watched like a really amped up esport event live. It's pretty crazy.
BlizzCon is one of a kind. For Heroes, at least, when it comes to that kind of atmosphere. Like, I'll never forget when you guys picked Murky. It was just the frickin' draft, right? And I wasn't casting the game. I was just in the crowd, and I forget who I was near. I was next to, like, Golden Boy or another, like, big esports caster that doesn't follow Heroes. They, like, swung by the Heroes stage at that moment during the draft. And they were just like... They looked at me, and they're like, your game is this hype just from the draft? Like, what is going on? But only BlizzCon is like that. People that aren't dedicated, like esports viewers, still are passionate about various characters and things in the universe, and they're excited to see it played on a global stage like that. So it's really something special. If all of you at home can put one thing on your bucket list to do, it's attend a BlizzCon in the near future. Save your money, make the sacrifice, make your own coffee at home, whatever you got to do to save that money. I'm telling you, it's worth it. I know people that go. My buddy, he's been living in Japan for like 4 years now, and he goes to BlizzCon every year. Like he just refuses to miss it, and that's a costly trip. It really is, but it's a special thing. It really is. Yeah,
it's really amazing. So the funniest thing for me about last year, actually, the whole of BlizzCon, was that we're up against Ballistics. We're clearly very outclassed. The one game, so the first two, the crowd's like pity clapping for L5. Like the one game where we actually show up and we look strong and we end up winning the game, the crowd was so insane. Like... And that felt amazing. Like, even though we just got like really smashed like the first two games, they were still like so hopeful. Like, come on, West, like please, like that. It's truly amazing to play in front of that kind of crowd. Truly an incredible experience.
Damn. Now I'm just thinking about BlizzCon. 1 month away, give or take, before BlizzCon, and geez. That is creeping up quick. Actually, 1 month from today exactly is Stranger Things Season 2. That's going to be real good too. Man, life's about to get real good. Honestly, I think that's good. We got some great viewer questions. Again, thank you everyone that asked them. If we didn't answer your question, it probably has already been answered, or we just can't comment on it or something like that. But we did read through them all, and I appreciate every single one of them. And I think we're just going to close the show out. Dunkel, you can get that stream fired up early if you're streaming tonight, and I can eat food. foods, which is an exciting thing in my world. Bakery can eat a banana. That's pretty much the only food he eats. Speaking of bananas, bakery shoutouts.
Sorry, what? I didn't quite catch that segue. No. So shout-outs to Team Linkhouse, of course. Shout-outs to my team. Shout-outs to all the fans who have been cheering for us throughout this entire year of HGC. We're going to be preparing really hard. Hopefully some exciting announcements coming in the near future for all you fans out there. And we're going to make you guys proud at BlizzCon. That's been the goal the whole year, and we're going to do it. So, yeah, huge shout out to you guys.
What is that emote? Nice. Bananas. Dunk Train.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much here. Just kind of doing my own thing with the stream. Yeah. I don't got much to shout out, Jake.
Awesome. Well, make sure to check out Dunk Stream after this. For me, busy times ahead, traveling back to California next week, so not certain whether or not there will be a show because I'll be out of town for 8 days this time, working on a few different projects. So constant busy right now, but it's all very exciting. Arcane 8 will be seeking additional help soon. We're looking to potentially bring on writers, more admins, potentially bringing on more streamers to build up kind of a stream team and expanding the brand overall. We have some pretty ambitious goals for 2018. So keep your eyes out on that. You can follow at Twitter at Arcane8GG to see when we are looking to fill those spots and how to apply. But yeah, just thank you for watching the show. Thank you for everyone that subs to Arcane 8 and supports the Solid Jake stream as well. And we will see you next time. It won't play. It won't play. My computer's lagging. I'm trying so hard. It's gonna play eventually because I see it's highlighted, but it just won't play. I'm trying. Yeah. Hello? Game? Do I just kill it? I'll try a different button. The cat button? Oh, the cat button works. Welcome here to Town Hall.